The doors swing open, and I step into the grand ballroom, heels clicking against polished marble. Crystal chandeliers dangle above, casting golden reflections over silk-draped tables. Polished silverware gleams under dimmed lights, and champagne flutes clink in delicate toasts. Wealth screams from every corner, loud and unapologetic. My sleek black gown hugs my frame, a second skin, every curve a weapon. Hair swept into an elegant updo, I'm not the girl they remember. I'm Eleanor Davis, 34, and tonight, I'm a storm walking into their perfect little world. The air shifts as I move forward. Heads turn, some curious, some hostile, all dripping with the arrogance of money. I let my gaze sweep the room, slow, deliberate, tasting the tension. 16 years ago, they threw me out like trash, a stain they scrubbed from their pristine lives. My mother, Patricia, thought I'd fade into nothing. My father, Richard, assumed I'd break. My sister Lauren laughed as the door slammed shut. They thought I'd vanish, a ghost erased from their story. But here I am, uninvited, untouchable, and they don't know what I've built. They don't know I'm about to burn their world down. I spot them near the center, a tableau of privilege. Patricia stands rigid, her manicured nails clutching a champagne glass, cold as ever. Richard pretends to laugh at some guest's joke, but his jaw twitches. He sees me, even if he won't admit it. And Lauren, the golden child, glows in her designer gown, arm looped through her fiancé marks. She's the bride, the star, the one they always chose. Good. Let her shine. It'll make the fall so much sweeter. The murmurs start, a ripple through the crowd. Someone whispers my name, Eleanor Davis, like it's a curse. Patricia's head snaps up, her eyes locking onto me, and the contempt is instant, unmistakable. What is that useless girl doing here? She's loud enough to carry. Lauren crosses her arms, lips curling into a smirk. That same smug twist I've hated since we were kids. You're not on the guest list, she says, voice sharp, dripping with disdain. The guests lean in, sensing blood, their polished masks slipping just enough to reveal the hunger for scandal. Mark, though, he's different. He steps forward, brow furrowed, then stops dead. His eyes widen, his face pales, and his voice cracks, broken. Wait! This woman is... He doesn't finish. He can't. I smile, slow and deliberate, letting the silence stretch. The room holds its breath, and I feel it. The power, the weight of their ignorance. They don't know who I am now. They don't know what's coming. And that makes this moment delicious. The memory hits like a fist, sharp and cold. I'm 18 again, standing on their doorstep, breath fogging in the night air. The chill seeps into my bones, every exhale a jagged ache. My fingers are numb, clutching a duffel with everything I own. $17.28 in my pocket, not even enough for a bus ticket. Above me, the house looms, warm light spilling from the windows, but the door is shut, locked tight. Richard stands in the frame, arms crossed, his face unreadable. A wall of indifference. Patricia doesn't even look at me. She's inside, her voice cutting through the wood like a blade. A waste of time, a waste of money, she says, each word a nail in the coffin of my existence. We've done enough for you. Lauren's there too, leaning against the banister, smirking like it's a game she's already won. Bye, Eleanor, she mouths, silent, gleeful. Then the door slams, the sound echoing in my skull, final. I don't move, not at first. My breath hangs in the air, visible, fragile. I wait. For what? For them to change their minds? For a crack in their armor? Nothing comes. Just the cold, the dark, and the echo of their last command. Figure it out! My father's voice, clipped, dismissive. Figure it out. They didn't just abandon me that night. They erased me, wiped me from their perfect picture like I'd never existed. I turn away, the gravel crunching under my sneakers, each step heavier than the last. The street stretches ahead, empty, endless. No money, no safety net, just the clothes on my back and their words ringing in my ears. I'm alone, truly alone, and the ache isn't just the cold. It's the severing, the realization that I'm nothing to them. But even then, shivering in the dark, I feel it. A spark, buried deep. They think I'm broken. They're wrong. That night, I don't know how, but I swear it. I'll figure it out. And one day, I'll make them pay. Back in the ballroom, the golden light feels sharper now, like it's cutting through their lies. Mark's still frozen, his unfinished question hanging in the air. This woman is... I tilt my head, meeting his wide eyes, and murmur, "Do you really not know anything?" My voice is soft, deliberate, a blade wrapped in silk. His throat bobs as he swallows hard, and I see it, doubt flickering behind his polished exterior. Lauren steps forward, her smirk faltering just for a second before she recovers. "You're not supposed to be here," she snaps, loud enough to draw every eye in the room. Her tone's a whip, meant to sting, to remind me of my place. The guests lean closer, champagne forgotten, their whispers buzzing like flies. They smell blood, and I'm the one holding the knife. I don't flinch. I don't cower. I smile, letting it spread slow and dangerous. "That's funny," I say, tilting my head, because I distinctly remember receiving an invitation. It's a lie, but it lands like a punch. Lauren's nostrils flare and Patricia shifts, her champagne glass trembling slightly. Richard's still pretending I'm invisible, but his jaw's tight, betraying him. Mark's staring at me now, confusion twisting into something heavier. Recognition, maybe fear. "Eleanor?" he says, barely a whisper, like he's testing the name. I step closer, heels clicking sharp against the marble, closing the distance. "Do you really not know anything?" I repeat, softer this time, watching his panic bloom. There's a beat of silence, then another, and the wedding, perfect, pristine, starts to crack at the seams. The crowd's hooked now, their murmurs rising, a tide of scandal lapping at the edges of the room. They expect me to beg, to grovel for their acceptance like the girl they threw away. They don't see it yet. The woman I've become, sharpened by years, patient as a predator. Lauren's glare burns, Patricia's contempt simmers, but I stand tall, untouchable. This isn't their story anymore. It's mine, and I'm just getting started. The ballroom hums with tension, a live wire ready to snap. Lauren's words still hang in the air, her smug, "You're not supposed to be here," lingering like a challenge. I feel their eyes, Patricia's glare slicing through me, Richard's twitching jaw betraying his feigned calm, Lauren's smirk daring me to break. They think they've won before I've even started, but they're wrong. I'm not alone anymore, and that's the first crack in their armor. A familiar warmth brushes my side. James steps forward, my husband, his tailored navy suit sharp against the golden haze of the room. His hand rests on the small of my back, subtle but solid, a claim they can't ignore. "Is there a problem here?" he asks, his voice polite but firm, cutting through the buzz of whispers. The crowd stills, heads tilting, sensing the shift. Lauren scoffs, rolling her eyes. "Who the hell are you?" she snaps, her tone dripping with condescension, as if he's some stray I dragged in, off the street. James doesn't blink. "Eleanor's husband," he says, calm, unyielding. The words drop like a guillotine, severing their smug certainty. Silence crashes over the room, heavy, suffocating. Lauren's fingers twitch, her smirk faltering. Patricia inhales sharply, her champagne glass trembling in her grip. Richard's head jerks up, finally meeting my gaze, and I see it, panic flickering behind his polished mask. They wanted me gone, forgotten, a shadow they could bury. Instead, I came back with armor, with James, my strength, my proof I'm not the helpless girl they discarded. I let the moment stretch, savoring their unease. They're realizing it now, piece by piece. I'm not just here to haunt them. I'm here to dismantle them. James's presence is my first move, a quiet declaration that I've built something they can't touch. Lauren recovers, forcing a laugh, but it's brittle, hollow. Husband, she says, glancing at Mark, who's still pale, silent. What, did you pay him to show up? I smile, slow and sharp. No need, I murmur. He chose me. The air thickens, and I feel the power shift, tilting in my favor. This is just the beginning. The memory pulls me back, sharp as a blade. I'm 18, shivering in the alley behind a diner, the cold biting through my thin jacket. Heat from the kitchen vents curls around me, a lifeline against the night. I've got nowhere to go, no one to call, just $17.28, and the echo of their dismissal ringing in my ears. Figure it out, Richard said, and I'm trying, curled up near the dumpsters, invisible to the world they thrive in. 3 days later, the owner catches me. Rita, sharp-eyed and gruff, doesn't call the cops. She tosses me a broom instead, her voice rough but steady. If you're gonna loiter, make yourself useful. I grab it, hands trembling, and sweep like my life depends on it. Because it does. That's my first break, a crack of light in the dark. By the end of the week, she lets me crash on an old cot in the storage room, the smell of grease and coffee clinging to the air. By the end of the month, she's paying me under the table, a few crumpled bills I hoard like gold. I've got a plan, even then, a spark igniting beneath the weight of their rejection. I don't stay small. I work, I save, I study, every cent, every hour a brick in the wall I'm building. At 22, I earn a scholarship to a business program, clawing my way out of that diner with nothing but grit. At 23, I'm interning at a startup, learning the game, watching the players. By 29, I've got my own company, a medical nutrition brand, lean and fierce, disrupting an industry they'd never understand. It's not luck, it's strategy, years of watching, listening, collecting. While Lauren flaunted her golden child status, while Patricia and Richard basked in their illusion of perfection, I was rising, silent and unstoppable. They never knew, never cared to look. In their minds, I disappeared that night, a burden lifted, a stain scrubbed clean. But I didn't vanish, I sharpened. Every milestone, every dollar was a promise to myself. I'd become something they couldn't ignore, something they'd fear. Standing here now, in this glittering ballroom, I feel the weight of those years, the strength I forged from their neglect. They thought they broke me, but they built me instead. And tonight, they'll see just how high I've climbed. The ballroom pulses with anticipation. The guests whispers a low hum beneath Lauren's fading bravado. She's still clinging to her smirk, but it's fraying, and I'm ready to rip it apart. Seriously, Eleanor, she says, rolling her eyes. You expect us to believe you're some success story? Please. You couldn't even make it through college. Her voice is loud, performative, meant to shame me, to remind everyone I'm the failure they cast out. The crowd leans in, eager for my collapse. I don't flinch. I reach into my clutch, pulling out a single sheet of paper, neatly folded. Is that what they told you? I say, unfolding it with deliberate care, my voice calm, calculated. I hold it up, just enough for the closest guests to glimpse. Lauren's academic record, stark in black and white. You never finished school, Lauren. You flunked out before you could even apply for residency. The room stills, a collective intake of breath. Her nostrils flare, her smirk freezes, then cracks, just for a fraction of a second before she recovers. That's not, she starts, but I cut her off, stepping closer, heels clicking sharp against the marble. Oh, but it is, I say, soft, lethal. 3 years ago you failed. No degree, no career, just lies. Mark turns to her, his brow furrowing, something dangerously close to betrayal in his eyes. "Lauren, what is this?" he asks, voice quiet, controlled. She spins to him, defensive, her face twisting. "It's fake," she hisses, voice rising. "She's lying. You know she's always been jealous of me." I tilt my head, feigning curiosity. "Jealous of what, exactly?" I murmur, watching the blood drain from her face. The guests are riveted now, sensing the shift, the crack in her perfect facade. Mark snatches the paper from my hand, his fingers trembling as he scans it. His jaw tightens, realization settling like a storm. "You told me you were a doctor," he says, low, accusing. Lauren grabs his arm, desperation creeping in. "Mark, she's twisting things. You know how she is." "Do I?" he snaps, pulling away. The air thickens, heavy with her unraveling. I watch, calm, steady, as her crown slips. The golden child exposed, a fraud in a designer gown. She's gaslighted me for years, turned every truth into a weapon against me, but now it's my turn. The truth cuts deeper than her lies ever could, and I'm the one holding the blade. This isn't just a reveal. It's a reckoning, and they're all about to feel it. Lauren's crumbling, but I'm not done. The ballroom's golden glow feels brittle now, like glass about to shatter. Mark's still clutching the paper, his breathing ragged, while Lauren stammers, grasping at her lies. I shift my gaze to Patricia and Richard, their faces a gallery of unease. Her cold scrutiny searching for flaws, his forced calm cracking at the edges. They think they're safe, untouchable, behind their wealth and status. They're wrong. I step forward, voice low, steady. "If we're talking about ruined lives," I say, flashing Patricia a sharp smile, "why don't we discuss the financial fraud case building against the Davis family clinic?" Silence slams into the room, complete, utter silence. Patricia's champagne glass tilts, a single drop spilling onto her hand. Richard's head snaps up, his eyes narrowing. "What are you talking about?" he says, quieter now, the arrogance leaching out of him. I arch a brow, mocking disappointment. "Oh, you didn't think I knew?" I shake my head, letting the words sink in. Embezzlement, insurance fraud, falsified patient records, all those little details you thought would stay buried. I lean in, voice dropping so only he can hear. "You should have been more careful, Dad. The IRS knows." His face goes white, a ghost of the man who threw me out. Patricia gasps, a rare break in her composure, her nails digging into her glass. I straighten, turning to the crowd, my tone light, conversational. Funny thing about secrets, they don't stay secret forever. The guests murmur, scandalized, their polished masks slipping. Lauren's still frozen, Mark's betrayal hardening into something colder. But it's Richard who snaps. "This is nonsense," he says, stepping forward, clinging to his authority. "You've got nothing." I chuckle, a real, genuine sound, and pull a sleek black USB drive from my clutch. "Nothing?" I muse, twirling it between my fingers. "Except, I don't know, 16 years worth of evidence." Lauren's breath catches, Patricia stiffens, and Richard's confidence cracks wide open. "Bank statements," I continue, watching their eyes widen. "Emails, legal documents tying your precious clinic to multiple counts of fraud." I lift the drive slightly, letting it catch the light. "Shall I go on?" The shift is palpable, a predator's trap springing shut. They thought they'd won all those years ago, thought I'd disappear without a trace. But I didn't. I watched. I waited, collecting every shred they left behind. I've held this ammunition for years, not out of spite, but because they taught me patience, taught me to sharpen my blades in silence. Now, standing here, I see the panic setting in. Lauren gripping her flute too tight, Patricia shifting uncomfortably, Richard's hands clenching at his sides. They finally know I'm not the girl they threw away. I'm the reckoning they never saw coming, and this is just the beginning of their end. The ballroom's golden light dims, swallowed by the chaos I've unleashed. Lauren's lies are exposed, her academic record a dagger in Mark's trembling hands, but the USB drive in my fingers holds the real fire. Richard's voice still echoes, his desperate, "You've got nothing?" A hollow shield against what's coming. I step forward, twirling the drive, its sleek black surface glinting like a promise. The crowd watches, breathless, as the tension coils tighter, a spring about to snap. "Go ahead, I say yo. Rinonokai sing Adakai Mark." My voice cool, steady. "Plug it in, see for yourself." He hesitates, his eyes darting between me and Lauren, who's rigid now, her knuckles white around her champagne flute. He knows, deep down, he already knows, but doubt is a cruel thing, and I'm here to make it undeniable. With a sharp breath, he strides to the DJ booth, yanking the laptop from behind the sound system. Lauren lunges, her voice a shrill plea. "Mark, stop!" she shrieks, clawing at his arm, but it's too late. He jams the drive in, the screen flickering to life. The room holds its breath as he scrolls, his face hardening with every line. Bank statements, emails, proof of the clinic's fraud, Lauren's falsified credentials. His shoulders heave, his hands ball into fists. "You lied to me," he says, cold, final, the words slicing through the air. Lauren flinches, stumbling back. "No, I didn't, She stammers, but he rips away from her touch, his fury boiling over. "You lied to me," he booms, loud enough to freeze the entire ballroom. Guests drop their polite facades, staring openly, scandalized gasps rippling through the crowd. I watch, calm, steady, as Lauren falls apart in real time. Her designer gown can't hide the mascara streaking down her face, her perfect world cracking under the weight of truth. Mark's breathing is ragged, his trust shattering with every scroll. "You're not a doctor," he spits, pure venom in his voice. "You're nothing." He hurls the laptop aside, the crash echoing like a gunshot, and storms toward the exit, leaving her sobbing in his wake. Patricia steps forward, her voice clipped. "Mark, listen." But Richard cuts her off, snarling, "Shut the hell up!" For the first time, the patriarch freezes, his control slipping through his fingers. This isn't chaos. It's precision. 16 years in the making. Their lies are ash now, and I'm the flame, burning steady, relentless. The guests murmur, the air thick with their downfall, but I'm not done. Not yet. I've sprung the trap, and they're caught, writhing in the wreckage of their arrogance. The USB was just the spark. The inferno's still coming. The ballroom erupts, a symphony of whispers and gasps, but I stand still, savoring the wreckage. Mark's gone, his ring glinting on the floor where he hurled it, a discarded relic of Lauren's lies. She's on her knees now, sobbing, her makeup a smeared mask of defeat. Richard's face is ashen, Patricia's rigid, and I feel the weight of their stares, fear, finally, where contempt once lived. I'm not the girl they threw out anymore, and they know it. I turn to the crowd, my gaze landing on a well-dressed older man near the back. Dr. Harrison, the hospital director where Lauren claimed she worked. "Doctor! Harrison!" I call out, casual, deliberate. He stiffens, his polished demeanor cracking as eyes swivel to him. "You might be interested to know," I continue, voice light, "that one of your so-called medical professionals is a high school dropout with no qualifications." Murmurs spread like wildfire, guests connecting the dots. Dr. Harrison's face reddens, his glare cutting to Richard. "You told me she had her degree," he snaps, his voice tight with betrayal. Richard stammers, sweat beading on his brow. "We can fix this. It's not—" But I interrupt, stepping closer. "Not fraud? Not a felony?" I say, arching a brow. He opens his mouth, desperate now, and shouts, "She's not my daughter." The room falls silent, a stunned pause. Even I'm caught off guard. Then I smile, slow and sharp. "That's an interesting statement," I say, considering you've been using my identity for tax fraud for the past decade. Dead silence. Richard blanches, Patricia's composure shatters, and I drop the final bomb. That's right, I add, my tone smooth. I checked my identity recently. Someone's been filing fraudulent tax returns, laundering money through the clinic, using my social security number. Dr. Harrison snaps his fingers at his assistant. Call the legal department, now, he growls, his career teetering on the edge. Richard tries to speak, but Dr. Harrison cuts him off. Your career is over, he says, final, damning. Security moves in, the crowd buzzing with chaos, but I stand firm, watching their world collapse. Lauren wails, Patricia's silent, and Richard's a shell of the man he was. They thought they'd won 16 years ago, but now they're nothing, exposed, broken, mine to destroy. This is justice, and I've never felt stronger. The ballroom dissolves into chaos, security weaving through the crowd, guests inching away from the Davis family like frauds contagious. Lauren's still on the floor, her designer gown crumpled, her sobs a pitiful soundtrack to their ruin. Richard tries to bark orders, but his voice is lost in the din, and Patricia stands frozen, her cold mask shattered. I should walk away, should be satisfied, but I linger, drinking in the sight. For years I dreamed of this, of standing tall as their world burned. Lauren looks up, eyes wide, desperate. Eleanor, please, she begs, her voice trembling, reaching for me. I let her plea hang, savoring the reversal. She, the golden child, begging me. Then I tilt my head, voice cool, cutting. Please? I echo. I don't remember you saying that when you stole everything from me, when you smirked as they threw me out. Tears slip down her cheeks, but I don't waver. You didn't care, I finish, sharp, final. And neither do I. Richard snaps out of his shock, his face twisted with rage. You think you're better than us now? He hisses, clinging to his ego like a lifeline. I laugh, a real, freeing sound, and meet his gaze dead on. I don't have to think it, I say, grinning. I know it. His jaw tightens, but he's got nothing left. Security closes in, Doctor. Harrison's already on the phone with the IRS, and the guests turn away, abandoning the sinking ship. I turn my back, stepping over Mark's discarded ring, its glint a footnote in their ruin. James waits by the doors, his dark eyes steady, his fingers brushing mine, a quiet anchor. We step outside, the night crisp, the city humming beyond their wreckage. He glances at me, brow raised. So, he drawls. Cake? I blink, then laugh, deep and uninhibited. Yes, I say, still grinning. Let's get some cake. Tonight's not about them, it's about me, and I'm finally, completely free. Here I was, sprawled on my couch in my new apartment, 6 months after I walked out, my phone buzzing like some angry swarm of bees trying to guilt me back into hell. Mom's number flashed, then Dad's, then, oh look, Tyler too, like a bad sitcom rerun I couldn't escape. It was almost funny. Almost. Their names lighting up the screen over and over, a desperate little dance of panic. And I just sat there, arms crossed, watching it vibrate across the coffee table like it might explode if I ignored it long enough. 6 months ago, I thought I'd left for good. No big scene, no yelling, just me grabbing a duffel bag, few clothes, my laptop, and slipping out the door of my parents' house, calm as you please, done, completely done. I didn't slam anything, didn't curse them out, just walked away, figuring that was the end of it. But here they were, blowing up my phone like I owed them my soul all over again. I leaned back, let out a slow breath, felt that dark, satisfying twist in my chest, because this chaos, was proof I'd finally shaken them. They didn't get to me anymore, not like they used to, and yet the buzzing kept going, relentless, a reminder of everything I'd escaped. If you're reading this, you're probably wondering how I got here, How a 29-year-old finance nerd like me ended up with a family that treated me like an ATM with feelings. And trust me, it's a story worth sticking around for. Picture this. Me, Jordan Evans, the good kid who never screwed up, pitted against a brother who could do no wrong and parents who'd guilt you into bankruptcy without blinking. Yeah, that's the mess I climbed out of. So I sat there, phone thrashing like a wild animal, and grinned. Because, for once, I wasn't the one scrambling to fix it. Want to know how it all fell apart? Keep reading, because this is just the start, and I promise, it gets wilder. Okay, let's rewind, because if you're going to get this, you need the full messed up picture of how I grew up. My name's Jordan Evans, 29 now, and back then, I was the kid who never gave my parents a reason to complain, never rebelled, never got in trouble, just kept my head down and did what I was supposed to. Meanwhile, my older brother Tyler, 33 and still a walking disaster, was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, even when he was wrong every damn day. Picture this. Tyler drops out of college at 20, just finding himself. Mom and Dad nod like it's some noble quest. He gets fired from 3 jobs in a row, retail, warehouse, even a cushy office gig, because they don't appreciate his creativity, and they shrug, say, times are tough for everyone. Then at 31, he moves back home, no job, no plan, just flops on the couch like he's earned it, and they're fine with it, cooing over him like he's a lost puppy. Me? I got my first job at 16, flipping burgers after school, saved every penny, put myself through college with scholarships and late-night shifts, graduated with a finance degree, landed a solid job straight out. Did they ever throw me a parade? Nope. Barely a good job, Jordan, because that's just what I did. I was the responsible one, the dependable one, the one who didn't need coddling. Love in our house, it wasn't warm, it wasn't free, it had strings, big fat ones, and I learned early they'd pull them whenever they wanted. Mom, Linda, she'd sigh dramatically when I'd visit. Oh, things have been so hard lately. Her voice all shaky like she was auditioning for a soap opera. And Dad, Mark, he'd toss out these casual little bombs. Tyler's trying so hard, just needs a little more time to get on his feet, like I was supposed to nod and agree. I saw it. I knew what they were doing, planting those seeds of guilt, and I let them. Because what else do you do when it's your family? I never asked them for a dime, not once. Built my whole life from scratch. But guess who did ask? Over and over. Tyler, crashing back home with nothing to show for it, and guess who they expected to step up when their bills started piling up? Me, always me, because I had my shit together, because I wasn't a mess like him. It wasn't outright abuse, I wouldn't call it that, but it was cold, calculated, this slow drip of expectation that I'd carry them all. Tyler could screw up 1,000,000 times, wreck his car, blow his rent money, whatever, and they'd bail him out, pat his head, say he'd figure it out eventually. Me, I'd show up with a paycheck and a plan, and they'd barely look up from their coffee, like it was my job to keep the world spinning. I gritted my teeth through it, told myself it was fine, I could handle it. I was strong, right? But that strength, it came with a price, and they never cared what it cost me. Mom would go on about how family sticks together, Dad would nod like some wise old sage, and Tyler, he'd just sit there smirking, knowing he'd never have to lift a finger. That was my life, year after year, the good kid propping up the golden child and the parents who picked favorites without even hiding it. So, when I say I walked out 6 months ago, you'll get why. It wasn't some random tantrum, it was me finally seeing the game for what it was, and refusing to play anymore. Stick around, because this is where it gets good. Where the guilt trips turn into full-on begging, and I stop being their safety net for good. So there I was, Jordan Evans, 29, working my ass off in finance, pulling long hours, making decent money, and somehow I ended up their personal lifeline, like I'd signed up for it without knowing. It started small, innocent almost. Mom calls, "Oh, Jordan, we're a little short on the electric bill this month," her voice all pitiful. And I'd send a check, no big deal, right? Then it's groceries. We forgot to shop again. Could you grab a few things? And I'd show up with bags because I knew they wouldn't bother otherwise. Then came the mortgage. Just temporary, Dad said. We'll figure it out soon. But temporary stretched into every month, this slow, insidious creep until I was covering almost everything. Utilities, food, the damn house payment, everything except their car, while Tyler sat on the couch, controller in hand, racking up high scores like he was doing us all a favor. I never asked them for a dime, built my life from nothing. But there I was, pouring my paycheck into their mess, and they acted like it was normal, like I owed it to them. Mom's sighs got heavier. Things are so tight lately, she'd say, eyes all watery. And Dad, he'd chime in. Tyler's still looking for something. It's tough out there. As if I hadn't been working since I was a kid. I'd nod, send the money, keep my mouth shut, because family helps each other. That's what they drilled into me. And I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Meanwhile, Tyler's over there. 33, no job, no rent, just chilling like a guest in his own home, and I'm the idiot picking up the slack, my bank account bleeding out, while they pretended it was fine. I gritted my teeth, dealt with it, told myself it was temporary, they'd get it together eventually, but months turned into years, and nothing changed. Except me. I got angrier, quieter, this slow burn building up inside. I'd see my savings dip, my weekends vanish into errands for them, and still, they'd look at me like I was supposed to say thank you for the privilege. It wasn't like they demanded it outright, no. They were sneakier. Those little hints, those passive-aggressive jabs. We're just a little short again, until I was their crutch, their ATM, their fix for every dumb choice they made. Tyler never chipped in, not once, just soaked it all up, and I let it happen. Because, what's the alternative? Let them sink. I thought I was being strong, responsible, the good daughter, but really, I was just dumb, letting them tighten that leash bit by bit until I couldn't breathe. That's how it went, until 6 months ago, when it all came crashing down, and I finally snapped. Keep reading, because that's where I stop playing nice and start fighting back. So, after years of playing their game, it all came to a head 6 months ago, a Sunday afternoon when I'd just finished a brutal week at work, my eyes burning from spreadsheets, my bank account still smarting from the latest family assist payment. I stopped by my parents' house like always, arms full of grocery bags because I knew they wouldn't have bothered shopping, and I walked in, expecting the usual quiet chaos. Instead, I got an ambush. Mom, Linda, sitting in the living room, arms crossed, lips pressed into that thin, angry line she saved for when she was about to unload. Tyler sprawled on the couch, tapping his phone like nothing mattered, and Dad, Mark, in the kitchen, shaking his head like I'd already disappointed him. I barely set the bags down, hadn't even said, "Hey," when Mom launched into it. "We need to talk, Jordan," her voice sharp enough to cut glass. And I knew, oh, I knew, this wasn't going to be good. Dad stepped forward, hands in his pockets, all casual-like. "We've been talking, and we think it's time you contribute more. You make good money, and it's not fair for us to struggle while you're off living on your own, spending your paycheck however you want." I just blinked, my brain scrambling to process that. Because what? "I already am contributing," I said, keeping my voice steady, but Mom scoffed. "A few bills here and there, that's nothing compared to what we need." Like, I was some stingy kid hoarding allowance. My hands curled into fists at my sides, nails digging in, and I tried to stay calm. "I've been covering the mortgage for 2 years, that's not nothing." But then Tyler rolled his eyes. "Come on, sis, you know they've done a lot for us, it's just money." And I snapped my gaze to him. "Us? I don't see you paying anything." That set Mom off, her face twisting. "Don't talk to your brother like that, he's trying his best." And I let out a laugh, cold and humorless. "Really? Because from where I'm standing, all he's trying to do is set a world record for most hours wasted doing nothing." Dad cut in, voice sharp. "Enough, Jordan. We're asking you to step up. The house is too much for us alone. If you were a good daughter, you'd take responsibility." Something in me broke right then. This jagged final snap. After years of giving them everything, my time, my money, my patience, and it still wasn't enough. I inhaled slow, let it out. "Let me get this straight. You want me to take over the mortgage completely, pay for everything, while Tyler keeps doing nothing, and you don't see anything wrong with that?" Mom's lips thinned. "We just thought, as our daughter, you'd want to help your family." And I shot back, "And what's Tyler? A houseplant." Tyler sat up, glaring. "I hate you." "Dude, I didn't ask for this." And I grabbed my bag. "No, but you sure benefited from it." Mom stood, anger rolling off her. "If you walk out that door, don't bother coming back." And I stared at her, this long, heavy moment, then smiled. "Okay, simple as that." And I walked out. No yelling, no big speech, just done. The air hit my face, cool and sharp, and I felt my shoulders loosen, like I'd been carrying their mess my whole life, and finally dropped it. That was it. The line in the sand, and I wasn't going back, no matter how hard they tried to reel me in. I walked away that day, moved into my own apartment, a small, quiet place that was mine, all mine, and for 6 months, I was free, finally free, breathing air that didn't stink of guilt trips and entitlement. I ignored the calls at first, the texts too, let them pile up like junk mail I'd never open. And it felt good, like I'd shed a skin I didn't know was choking me. No more grocery runs, no more late-night transfers to their account, just me, Jordan Evans, 29, living for myself. And I swear, I could have danced on that couch some days. The silence was that sweet. They'd call, Mom's number flashing, Dad's too, even Tyler once or twice. But I'd watch it ring out, smirking, because they didn't own me anymore. Not one bit. Then, today, oh today, it shifted. Dad texted, "Why haven't you paid the mortgage this month?" And I stared at it, this blunt little demand, like I was still their errand girl. I let out a slow exhale, felt something dark and satisfied curl in my chest, because here it was, proof they'd never planned to stand on their own. I typed back, "Oh, I thought I wasn't welcome," hit send, and leaned back, grinning, because that's when my phone exploded. Texts, calls, notifications flooding in like a dam broke. Mom, Dad, Tyler, all at once, this frantic chorus of desperation. I didn't touch it, not right away, just watched it buzz across the table, vibrating like some trapped animal, and I laughed, quiet and sharp, because 6 months of silence, and now this? They'd had me footing their bills for years, and the second I stopped, it was chaos. Beautiful, messy chaos. I sat there, arms crossed, letting it sink in. The freedom, the power. Because for once, I wasn't scrambling to fix their mess. Wasn't caving to those tired old pleas. Mom probably typed something furious, Dad something reasonable, Tyler something useless. But I didn't care. Not yet. I was done being their safety net, done letting them leech off me while I worked my ass off. The phone kept going, relentless, and I felt lighter with every ignored ring, like I'd finally cut the last thread tying me to their sinking ship. This wasn't over, not by a long shot, but right then, it felt like a win, a big, bitter, glorious win. Curiosity got me eventually, so I picked up the phone after letting it thrash for a while, scrolled through the mess. Mom's first text, "What's wrong with you? How could you do this to us? The bank called. We're late." Then Dad's, "Jordan, this is serious. We could lose the house. Call me now." And Tyler's gem, "Dude, you know they don't have the money. Are you really letting them lose it to prove a point?" There it was, the guilt trip, right on schedule, like they'd rehearsed it, and I could have replied, could have fired back. But I didn't. Not yet. I leaned back, let them stew, let the panic settle in, because maybe, just maybe, they'd realize I wasn't their fix anymore. 20 minutes later, Dad called. Then Mom, straight, to voicemail both times, and Tyler texted again. Answer your phone. This isn't funny. But funny's exactly what I found it. Because I'd been pouring money into that house for years, no complaints, and the second I stopped it twice, it all fell apart. So what the hell had they been doing with it? I decided to dig, not argue. Called the bank, put on my best concerned daughter voice. Hi, I used to handle my parents' mortgage payments. Recently stopped. Just checking the status. And after a few questions, a hold that felt like forever, the rep came back. Ma'am, the account's been delinquent for nearly 8 months. 8 months. I ran a hand through my hair, suppressing a whistle. 8 months, while I was still sending money, and they weren't paying? So even when I was contributing, it wasn't going through? I asked, and she paused. It appears so, yes. And I hung up, grinning, because, oh, they were screwed and I had them dead to rights. All that cash I'd sent, thousands, and they'd pocketed it, let the mortgage slide, figured I'd keep bailing them out forever. What a plan, huh? I called Tyler first because he was there. He had to know something. The phone barely rang before he picked up. Jordan, finally, you need to fix this. And I cut in. Hey, quick question. Where'd all the money I sent go? Bank says they haven't gotten a full payment in 8 months. Silence, long and heavy. Then he spluttered, I don't know what you're talking about, and I snorted. Oh, come on, man, you live there. You didn't notice Mom and Dad suddenly flush while I was bleeding dry? He paused again, then huffed. You don't get it. They're our parents. They needed help. And I laughed sharp. Oh, I get it, loud and clear. I got it every month for years. You all lied, pocketed my money, and now you're freaking out because the well's dry. He growled. You're being cruel, and I hit back. No, I'm letting you face the consequences of your own stupidity. Big difference. Before he could reply, Mom called. Screeching the second, I answered Crumb. How dare you, Jordan? You know we need help. The bank's threatening us. I kept my voice calm. Oh, like how you needed help while I paid and you didn't bother with the mortgage for 8 months? She sucked in a breath. Don't talk about that. Tyler's struggling. You have no idea. And I laughed again. Struggling? He's been struggling for a decade, Mom. You know who else struggled? Me, keeping a roof over your heads while you lied to my face. Dad grabbed the phone, lower, measured. Jordan, we just need help this month. We're behind. Foreclosure's coming if you don't step in. And I felt that sharp twist, not guilt, anger. Sell the house then, I said, and Mom exploded in the background. We can't sell. This is our family home. I shrugged, even though they couldn't see. Sounds like a personal problem. Dad inhaled. Be reasonable. We just need a little support. And I repeated flat. Figure it out like how you figured out how to screw me over for almost a year. And he snapped. Enough. You're our daughter. You will help. I smiled, slow and bitter. Looks like you'll have to sort this one without me. And hung up, phone buzzing again instantly. Texts, calls, all furious, all desperate. But I didn't care. They'd played me, and now they were caught, and I was just getting started. The phone kept buzzing after I hung up on Dad, Mom's texts piling in. We need to talk right now. Then Dad's, I can't believe you're doing this after everything we've done for you. And I scoffed, shaking my head, because everything they've done was just a fancy way of saying they'd leaned on me until I broke. I fired back, typing slow and deliberate. Funny, I was thinking the same thing. You keep asking what kind of daughter I am, but I'm the only one paying attention. I'm not the one who stopped paying the mortgage, not the one who ignored it for months. Maybe it's time you deal with your own mess. And hit send, my thumb hovering for a second, savoring it. This wasn't about the house anymore. It was about me taking back what they'd stolen. Years of my life, my peace, and I wasn't letting them guilt me into it again. Dad called almost instantly, and I picked up on the third ring, voice steady. Jordan, this isn't you. We raised you better, he said. Like that line still worked, and I couldn't hold it in. Really? Because all I remember is you being there when it was convenient. Me saving your asses every month while you barely noticed when I needed you. Too busy with your mess? Or Tyler's latest flop, and now I'm ungrateful? He paused, scrambling, and I could hear it, the crack in his voice when he finally said, "We're sorry, Jordan. We messed up. But please, we need your help. We won't make it without you." I tapped the armrest, letting that sit, then exhaled. "No, Dad, you need to stand on your own. You've lived off me too long. It's not my job to fix your mistakes anymore." And he begged, "Please, we'll pay you back. I swear," like I hadn't heard that 100 times. I laughed, short and bitter. "Funny. I've been waiting for that payback for years. Where is it, Dad? Where's the thanks for all I've done?" He went quiet, then mumbled, "Jordan, I'm sorry. You've been more than generous. I took you for granted. But don't let us lose the house. I'm begging you. This is everything." And it hit me. Same old plea, same old trap. But this time, it didn't stick. "No," I said, flat and final. "You'll figure this out without me. I'm done." And hung up before he could try again, the silence thick and heavy. But good, so good. I'd cut that cord, finally, and it wasn't a win over them. It was freedom, pure and sharp, like I'd clawed my way out of quicksand. Then Mom texted, "You don't understand. You'll regret this. You'll see how far this goes. We need you. Don't ruin everything." And I almost snorted. She still thought I was a tool to wield, not a person who'd had enough. I fired back, "You've had time? I'm done bailing you out. Deal with the mess you made. I'm not your fall guy anymore." And Tyler called right after, voicemail popping up when I let it ring out. I played it, speaker on, his voice low and dramatic. "Sis, you messed up big. Mom's crying. Dad's freaking out. You need to fix this." And I rolled my eyes. Fix this. Like I'd torched their house instead of just stepping away. He kept going. "You're selfish. You think you're proving something, but you're destroying us, I swear, if you don't pay." And I deleted it mid-sentence, done with his empty tough guy act. Because what was he gonna do, sulk harder? Mom called again, and against my better judgment, I answered, her voice shrill. "I hope you're happy, Jordan," the bank called. "We've got days before they take it. How could you?" I held back a yawn. "You mean the home I had no right to be in anymore, that one?" She snapped. "Don't mock me, young lady." And I grinned. "Oh, I dare, Mom. Let's recap. You said leave and don't come back, so I did. And now you're mad I followed orders?" She growled. "That's not the point. This house is everything." And I cut in. "And yet, it's falling apart the second I stop paying. Wild, huh?" She went quiet, then venomous. "We did everything for you, and you walk away when we need you most." And I exhaled slow. "No, I walked away when I realized I was only good as long as I paid your bills." And hung up. Done. Truly done. Their texts still coming. Furious. Pleading. But I was free, and they couldn't touch me anymore. I turned my phone off after that, stretched out on my couch, flipped through some TV channels, and let the silence wash over me. This rare, perfect quiet where I wasn't drowning in their endless demands. It felt good, really good, like I'd finally pried their hands off my throat, and I could breathe, think, live for me, Jordan Evans, not their puppet anymore. The weight was gone, lifted, but something nagged at me. This wasn't over, not even close, because they'd keep clawing, keep begging, and I'd have to hold this line. But right then, I didn't care. I'd done it, cut the cord, forced them to face the mess they'd made, and it felt like a victory, bitter and sweet all at once. So here I am, spilling this out, wondering what you think, because I need to know. Did I go too far, pushing them to sink or swim when I could have tried something else, maybe negotiated, found a middle ground? Or did I finally do the right thing, cutting them off, making them deal with the consequences of their lies and laziness? Tyler included? I've spent years propping them up, bleeding money and sanity, and now I'm free. But part of me wonders if I'll look back and regret it. If they lose that house, and I feel the guilt creep in. I don't think so. Not yet. But I want your take. Tell me, honestly, was I too harsh, or was this the only way to break free? Let me know, because this story's mine, but your thoughts might help me see it clearer.